So we're trying to make this, and we've got this far with it. Let's look at how we've done that. And of course, we need to look at our Visual Studio Code to see that. Everything so far is into a single HTML file with the work that I've been doing with it. And I was working on this morning with some students. So we've got a single file. The body contains two tables. The first table is the table with the fruit in it, and that's why it's got this image, which I just cut from, well, just from what I saw on the screen. I used my snipping tool to make this that I called fruit. And then I placed it into a folder, which is called the images folder. And so if I look at my folders, yeah, rotten Zoom's always in the way. I got to keep pushing it out of the way, right? So in my folders, I've got a the Firefox file that you see there is the page, and then there's an images folder where I've put that fruit images, and I encourage you to do that just as a good housekeeping sort of policy, to separate your images from your HTML files, and then then you've got a standard way of navigating to them. And so when I want to navigate to this image, what I've had to do is I've had to say, okay, from the current directory, that's the / go to the images directory. Now, why do I go from the current directory? Because I'm in the root of this particular website. Then find that thing called fruit. Now, just in looking at this thing at the moment, I do notice that the actual example said fresh fruits, not fresh fruit. So I'm going to change that there. Now, some other things that we might have noticed, and I'm saving this. If we look at I got these errors here, right? You see the 3 chevrons as I was building this up, because the way that I built that up is I did it by a lot of copy and paste. I copied and pasted all the TD and TH tags. And then well, in doing that, if I get my cursor in the wrong place while I'm doing that, I could do that paste or copy wrong, incorrectly. And that, in fact, is what happened. And I noticed that. So I've got those 3 hashes there, and that shouldn't be there. And so when I inspected the table, I can see that there's extra greater than signs there, right? So that was from sloppy copying and pasting. And so I'm going to remove those now, and you'll see. So if I look at this now, you'll see the error, the 3. Now, by editing them out, should be able to overcome that problem, right? So when I refreshed, so now I'm good. I got my table at the top. Oh, when I changed the spelling of fruit, I left the T out. I cut the T out. Yeah, anyways, you got to have better vision than me, right? All right, so now I think it's going to be right. And yeah, so fresh fruits. Now the way these tables work, right, is they're a variable width. We can change that, but the way we are at the moment is just fine like that. So to actually get it to look like the one here, I can do that just by stretching, or because they're flowing around. Now I can change that a bit, but for this class we don't need to do that too much. So I think we got that kind of looking how the top one I think is looking okay. Now the bottom one, we got a lot more work to do. I noticed that the top heading is in italics here, just like this one, but it's not here. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to style two rows, and kind of did a bit of a hit and miss on that. Some other things there that need to be.
So you put the style in the head, right?
Yeah, the style's all happening in the head.
Then
yeah. So,
yeah, okay. I saw you that you said large text and normal font.
Yeah.
Yeah, here
So that's what I did for table 2. And maybe that's not exactly right. I mean, that was an estimate, I guessed, just looking at it. And so maybe you could come up with a better one. Yeah. So that's.
How did it know exactly where to change and style all that?
Well, okay. So very good. So exactly where to get it exactly right. So I've got a table styling here, which will style all the tables. You see when I highlight that, everything that's highlighted in blue is going to be styled by this instruction. However, I've got another identifier, which I use the term ID, which only works for the second table. And that will override the first one because it's like a programming language which uses sequence. That is, what happens first is followed by what happens last, and the thing that happens last is the thing that's going to remain, right? Someone in the waiting room. Okay, thank you. So let them in.
But sir, what about the inside text?
Sorry.
Inside the table, it's not gonna change.
Um, it's
Like we just want the heading.
all right. Very
We
good
don't want the
question.
inside to change.
That's right. So I'm trying to. I don't see anybody in the. I see, but I can't see them to let them in. So how we do that is what this actual command means here is in the table 2, only the th is going to be styled like this. There's no comma there. This means the th in the table. So this won't affect the TDs. It only affects the th. Does that make sense? So that's what I did by putting table 2 th.
What's
Oh,
the th?
th stands for table header. So
Oh, okay.
the
Okay.
table header tag, but only that is going to get this styling of large and normal. But when I look at it, it's not quite right. There's a few things that I need to do. So the first thing I notice that is not quite right about this table is that, we've got our words that are sort of stuck up against the edges, which is not really very good. So what we can do to fix that is we can put some padding in. So let's do that. We can do it for the
Sir,
entire table.
isn't that what the table wants in the image? The header to be like away from each other?
Uh, the
Like
padding
in
will move
each
the padding.
thing has to be.
I'm not sure what your question is, but the reason I'm doing the padding is that will move anything that's inside one of these elements, a table, a TR, a TH, or a TD, will move it away from the border of that element. And so we can put a certain number of picks. Let's say I put 10 picks. Trying to.
Yeah, I saw what that does in the W3 schools. It makes it so
A little
far
better.
apart.
Yeah, maybe 10 is a bit much, but I mean, we do these things by our eye. We look at it and we say, I think it's that much, and then we estimate, and then maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. So by putting a padding of 10 that's got those things away from the borders, and I think it makes it a little bit better. Maybe 10 is too much. As I say, do it by your eye, right? So I just did a padding of 10. I could probably get away with 5, it seems. So save that and have a look. Yeah, W3 Schools is an excellent resource. So yeah, that 5 is probably enough. So that just makes it look a little bit more readable. We don't have the text going up against the borders there. So now I can start filling in these things with the actual correct text for them. So I would have to have a look at that while I'm doing it, right? I hate Zoom. God, it sort of just sits there in your way, right? Like an unwanted house guest. Anyways, yeah. Right. Sir, someone's in the waiting room. Look, I have the waiting room open. I don't see anybody there. So, I mean, not much I can do about it.
Why not disable the waiting room?
I tried to do that like 6 weeks ago. That it seems to be a security feature, so that we just don't have random people joining our classes. So yeah. All right. So where were we? Yeah. So we want to add these data in here. So I think I got the 52 weeks or whatever. Zoom, get out of the way. Okay. It's just, yeah, it's like having a messy desk and trying to work on it. That's what Zoom does. It messes up your desk. Okay, so now I can see what I'm doing. So I moved sort of Zoom out of the way a bit there. I want to put in this 52. I got the first line, right? So Microsoft is MSSFT. So that's down here. This is what we're doing is we're building up this next line. Microsoft's MSFT. So I didn't do that quite right because I was just guessing it. So on the New York Stock Exchange, at least, everything is limited to a 4-letter abbreviation. And so Microsoft's abbreviation is MSFT. Now, if I was a investor in Microsoft, then I would know that. I would have memorized it, right? Well, obviously, I'm not an investor in Microsoft. But mind you, perhaps I should have been. I've done all
Sir,
right.
do you know how long it took me just to write this up? I literally copy pasted everything. And then
Yeah.
I just changed the words.
Well, what do you think of this way?
I created a space in each of them, the TR, and like I created the space and then I made one, like I made one line of Microsoft and that, and I copy pasted it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I kind of done something like that. I'm not going to do them all here, but just to show you what to do. Now, everything has to be between a tag with a greater than and then a less than with a slash. So I'm going to end it at that, but just showing you this is 75. What's that? 75, 1.5. So you notice that they're not using decimals. They're using old style because it's on the American thing, right? Okay, so I'm going to save that. Make sure I'm in here when I try and save it. And let's have a look at it again. Oh, rotten thing. Yeah, good morning. Can I let some more people in? I don't know. I don't actually see them. So yeah, so why am I not able to see the bottom screen? I think maybe I don't want to stop the share because then you won't be able to see. But what I want to do is just get my browser up. It's all in the way. Did I mention that I really don't like Zoom? I don't know if I did. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, sir, you mentioned a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Every time.
I don't like it. It's
Press Windows D, it will show this.
it's kind of like an arrogant person that sort of has to dominate everything that you do.
Wow, we gave a Zoom personality.
I hate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't like arrogant people that sort of.
Can we just come to class?
All right, so here we are. This is what I meant.
Abandon all rules.
There we go. So those are the things that I just edited in. You see, it will take some time, but it will build it up nicely. But the thing is, even then, it's not going to look right because I see this font is not right. And I see that this is not, yeah, maybe this, that's okay. But I see this font is not right. It needs to be italics, and maybe it needs to be a bit bigger. And so the way to get that, I think, would be to go into it's styled correctly. Get out of the way, Zoom. It's styled correctly in the heading for, yes, this one's okay. So what I need to do is I need to make this also for table 2. So hash table 2. So, all right. So, actually, no, I'm going to have to make in table 2, in this row here, I'm going to put an ID. So let's call it T2, just like that, right? And so now what I can do, I'll call it TR2. Just so in this particular, oh no, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Wrong table. I need to have that in the second table so that we get the result that we're looking for here, right? So second table, in that first row, the my text docs, I want that to be styled the same as that other thing. And so I'm going to give it a name. And then I'm going to use that name to style it the same as the other one. Actually, yeah, I have a problem with that. Okay, so I'm going to have to style this other thing also. Table 2. This will override this. So what I'm going to do is this.
Instead of saying large, small, medium, size, large text, is it okay if I like put certain numbers?
Yes, better. All right, so I've got TR2 and TR3. So here, for instead of doing this TH, I'm going to put TR3. And that should give the second column, that gives me a way of just handling the second row. And then the first row, I'm going to do the same as the previous table. And so the first row, I'm going to put in here, hash TR2. Now, you know, I'm doing this on the fly, which is really sort of teaching you bad habits. I think it would be kind of better if you sort of looked at it and thought about it and planned it. But yeah, you know, we want to do this kind of quickly. And it's kind of a simple exercise. So what that's done, oh, well, the problem is that this other one is too big now. So I've got TR1 and TR2 are the same. Didn't mean that. Let's have a look. So, because of the TH. Oh, gosh, I have to do all of them, right? So what I'm going to do now, TH is a big mess, is indeed, I'm going to go here in this first row. I'm also going to give it an ID. ID equals TR1. Now I can
Why are you giving them ID? Is it like identifying it?
Yes, ID stands for identifier. And so what I'm going to do here is these two are going to TR1. So what I'm doing is, instead of just styling all the T heads the same, I'm identifying each of the rows in which those T heads are, and I'm doing the styling differently for each row. Well, actually, two of them I'm doing the same, the two top ones, and then the third one's different. Now, this should work this time, I hope. As I said, I haven't really planned this out. We're sort of just doing it on the fly. And yes, now we've got it kind of how we wanted to have it. And so that's how that happened. I will put this up on D2L so you can sort of see. So now we're getting sort of closer to what we wanted it to look like. And, you know, to be honest, I think in this course, you guys, this is your first look at HTML. It's not really, you're not really supposed to go in depth into CSS. It's not possible to do all the stuff that we just did without CSS. So I'm not going to ask you to worry about it too much, but just to show you, I was just trying to demonstrate that these things are possible, even sort of just doing it on the fly quickly as we did here. You can sort of make your page kind of look how you want. That's what your CSS is. Now, as far as the table is concerned, and I'll just sort of summarize with this for today, I think, is the tables, as far as the tables are concerned, I hope you got the idea of how a table was structured. You have some table tags, and then within the table, you have rows. And then those rows can be of two different types. You can have rows which have headings in them. So they're going to have TH tags, or you can have rows that just contain data, in which case they're going to have TD tags. And so you can separate them from each other with the tags. So we saw that especially in the second table, because the second table had many columns, and so many tags for each of those columns. We are also able to do like what we do in Excel, a merge, and you know, the merge thing. And so we do that in our HTML. We do that with a call span. Call span is going to merge columns. You can merge rows also, and so you have a similar command which is called a row span. And that's basically the main thing that you're supposed to get. I did spend a bit of time just now sort of just making it look right, because I think, to be fair, you know, when you start making your web pages, you're going to spend a bit of time making it look right. which is going to be CSS programming, which is this stuff that we did up here. But as I said, to be fair, that's probably not really so much required at the moment. And I hope that you can see there that we've got two different kinds of headings going on. We got headings which are normal, and we got headings that are italic and kind of large. And so how that presented itself is the difference between the normal, which I'm showing now, and the ones that were larger and italics. And so I'm going to stop talking now because I talked a lot, and I'm going to